Hello everyone, my name is Tim, and welcome back to Tim Talks. I have the show ready for you proper just after this, but before we started, I just wanted to give you a fair warning. This episode's a little rough. Our internet was having problems, and Skype didn't want to play nicer with anything else, so it just kept disconnecting every so often, which is fantastic. But that's okay, because I fixed most of it in post, and you can barely tell, but there are some jump cuts, so I wanted to prepare you for that beforehand. Sorry. I know. Shit happens. We did the best we could. I cut it together. You can barely tell. Anywho, hope you enjoy this interview. It's with Jackie Izawa, also known as GeekyFriedRice. And, yeah, without any further ado, and even less bother, let's jump right in. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tim, and welcome back, finally, to another episode of Tim Talks, the show that's only partially a show, but really is just an excuse for me to talk to some of my very talented friends. And speaking of talented friends, I have another one here with me today. Her name is Jackie Izawa, also known as GeekyFriedRice. Say hello, dear.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. It's absolutely my pleasure. Now, we actually have a very interesting story of how we met, and that we met about 3 or 4 weeks ago. God, it was 3 or 4 weeks ago.
I know, it's kind of sad.
I want it to be tomorrow.
Yeah. I really miss that.
We met at RTX. Excuse me. And we were both working there as guardians. Would you like to make everyone jealous and tell them what our jobs were?
It was pretty much being Rooster Teeth's bitch. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes, you absolutely are. By all means, cuss away. Fuck it. Who really cares?
Okay, awesome. Because I was kind of worried. I'm like, I don't think it has a rating on the show. But
no, we got to be the personal assistants to some of the Rooster Teeth staff. I was Jack's personal assistant. Who are you working with again?
I was working with Chris Damaris.
Oh man,
I can't it ever.
Oh gosh, and y'all were working over in the immersion exhibit, yeah?
No, we were kind of all over the place actually. I kind of shadowed him when he was working the Gauntlet booth, and then he was kind of sort of overseeing the Rooster Teeth experience booth, but we didn't really stay in one place or the other for a very, very long time. I was pretty much just making sure that he wasn't bombarded by people that were trying to get his autograph or...
Yeah, I'll bet. But I gotta say, that was kind of the most fun part of the job. I'm not gonna lie. Just kind of being involved and being around and kind of having to be the bad guy, I guess.
I wasn't even the bad guy. It was so cool. There's only really one time that I ran into an issue, and that's when our security guardian stepped in, and it was amazing. It was really nice having them there. So we were saying that the security guardians, whenever Barbara, I was talking to her about the criteria, and she said, yeah, pretty much anyone who was ex-military or anything like that, security. Yeah, they look like it, too. I was looking at them like, I don't want to mess with them. If I was an attendee, no, it's okay.
No, I really wouldn't mess with them. It was kind of really, really handy having them there at the end of the AH booth as well, with all the controversy surrounding signing the tower.
It was kind of funny because Chris and I managed to crash into the podcast panel, so we got to see that end of it, and it was really because I was going like this, and I was like, please tell me it's scripted. This has to be scripted because there's no way that Joel would do something like that. But it ended up, do you know the story of how everything ended up?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I do.
Sneaky little bastard that Joel is.
Yeah, sneaky little bastard.
But I was happy. I seriously thought that Jack was going to deck him.
It was really kind of funny watching him out there because we had just sprinted across the entire expo floor and up for not flights of stairs. It was an elevator ride, but it was definitely one of those Mass Effect elevator rides where everyone's kind of shuffling around kind of awkwardly, waiting for the doors to open. And, just sprinted across the entire way. So he was already huffing and puffing and huffing and puffing. And I think that kind of lent to
you there
the whole thing of...
started getting all of the messages? Oh.
I was.
And he just knew off the bat that it was Joel.
Yeah. Look. There's only so many people it would have been who would have done something like that. And we had just been up there already because Joel had been talking a whole bunch of crap, apparently, and he was getting messages saying that Joel was threatening to come downstairs and sign the Tower of Pimps, the giant 23-some-odd feet. It was 5 meters. So 23-some-odd feet Tower of Pimps. He was actually going to come downstairs and sign it, and Jack really didn't want that to happen. He worked really hard on it. Yada, yada, yada. And so we ended up just circling it with security.
Oh, man. That had to be so stressful.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even think about what, the other side would have handled. And
yeah. Stressful, yes. Fun, much more yes.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. I was dying laughing because I got to be the observer, and yet at the same time, I was in it, man. I was in it to win it. Jack, okay, so we ran across the floor the first time, and then we came back downstairs, all well and good. His phone starts blowing up, and he runs a second time. And he ends up passing this kid who's carrying a longboard in the convention center. Who carries a longboard in the convention center?
That's kind of weird.
But he kind of does that maneuver where you look behind you after you walk by somebody who's running and, to see where the hell they're running to. And I'm chasing right behind Jack, so he kind of juts his longboard out, and I have to do this runny, jumpy, flippy, Troy-like maneuver.
I'll go you.
Yeah, to get around him, and I ended up pulling a muscle in my leg because I haven't done any exercise in years. And so we make it back up there again, and oh my God. I was dying. All the other assistants to all the other staff members who were on the podcast were sitting backstage and were already dying because we had been up there once already.
Uh-huh.
And so when we burst back into the door, they just started rolling on the ground. I mean, so 10 seconds before Jack's actual bursting onto the scene, he's already backstage waiting for the perfect entrance moment because it's coming. It's coming. Oh, that was probably the highlight of my 2 weeks in Austin, and I did a lot of good things in Austin, so that's saying a lot.
I missed out on a lot of food, apparently.
I had that same experience last year. I went for just a week, and it was not enough. Not even close. So this year, I decided to stay 2, and it was much better. Still not quite enough, but I don't know if you can really have enough of that city. But it was better.
Well, I stayed there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I left Monday. However, because we were just completely swamped and walking around, and I'm like shadowing Chris and everything, I think I ate maybe once a day.
They told us to take care of ourselves and to rest and eat and all that crap.
And I was so focused on him. I was like, do you have water?
Yeah.
Do you want food? Do you have everything that you need? And he did, but I kind of forgot about myself at this time.
I mean, yeah, it was one of those things where as long as Jack wasn't going to take a break, I damn sure wasn't going to take a break.
Right. Exactly. And I felt like such an ass if I was like, I need a breather, and he kept on going. I'm like, that's not my job, so I'll just keep going.
Because, I mean, and it was so inspiring.
Yeah.
To watch them just give of themselves, honestly and truly wish that there were more hours in the day to give to these people.
Yeah.
And it really touched me in the best place.
Yeah, and that's why I decided to be a guardian.
Yeah.
Because people ask me, like, why would you not want to actually attend? Why would you want to volunteer and work it? And I said, you guys have no idea. Because I have friends here that go to, like, Comic-Con and Anime Expo and all that, but those conventions are so different in nature. RTX is all about us. It's all about the community. And, I met up with Jack the last time he was in Vegas, and he's like, yeah, we don't make people pay for our signatures. If they want a photograph of us, they were like, yeah, let's go. And, it's very, very heartwarming to see them in their own element. And it was nonstop for them, too, even after hours. After the convention, they were still going, and I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we stayed until probably 8:30 that last night.
Yeah.
And then I stayed behind and helped break down the convention because, I mean, why not? Did I lose you again? Yep. Son of a bitch. In essence, yes, you're exactly right. 5 days in Austin isn't enough because you get restricted to being in the convention center alone, just doing that, just working, and you kind of lose track of everything.
Yeah, I didn't even hit the Rooster Teeth store until the very last day when pretty much everything was sold out. I got the Achievement Hunter hoodie, the RWBY hoodie, and a couple of slap bands, and I was okay with that.
I got the Achievement Hunter hoodie as well. I figured that's probably the best decision to get.
Yeah, well, actually, I ran into Brian Beam, who is their art director, and he's like, you should definitely get the Achievement Hunter hoodie, and I was like, okay, I'll make sure I get it, and he's an awesome guy. He just had a little baby girl, and she's so cute, and I actually made them a diaper cake.
That's awesome.
I'll probably send you a picture of it, but
please do. I'll put it over there.
He's such a cool guy. I don't think a lot of people know who he is, but I'm just a Twitter whore, and I just follow everyone on Rooster Teeth, and he's such a down-to-earth, awesome guy. So I think his Twitter handle is Flabby Iron Man.
Oh yeah. I know you're talking about.
So that's him.
I believe that he was walking around tweeting stuff about, if you find me and tell me about this tweet, I'll give you a button. Or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
Maybe that was last year. I don't know. He was definitely doing that at one point or another.
It could have been this year. I totally stayed off of, because I brought a separate charger for my phone, because I was thinking I can't be without any type of communication with other people, with other Guardians, or with Chris, or with Katie, our team leader. And I said, if my phone dies, that's it. I can't do that. So I stayed off of all the social media, even though I wanted to post like crazy. And
all I have is an iPod. And so when I was not in Wi-Fi range, this thing might as well have been a brick.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because, like, not during the convention, with off hours, Wi-Fi in the convention center worked great. But somehow, for some reason, when you put 8,000 people in the same place and have them all using the same Wi-Fi network, it doesn't work as well.
It got pretty bad. But, it wasn't horrible.
No, it wasn't. I was able to kind of take some pictures beforehand with the iPod, and I had I borrowed my little brother's camera. He ended up mailing it to me from Georgia. He's got this really nice. Sorry, hang on.
Shake. Camera shake.
Oh, shush. This nice little Fujifilm camera that actually worked really well for recording stuff down on the floor. But I realized when I got home to do my Tim Travels to RTX video that I got nothing of the convention floor.
Wow.
I got a crap ton of pictures of everything, but no actual video.
And you were following Jack on top of that, so it was,
yeah.
So you were in the convention set,
I was on the floor all the time, and I just never had the thought, because I had all of maybe 2 hours off during the entire convention, with the exception of I took an hour off to go run home and soak my leg for a minute. Jack was like, no, you can just come back at 6:30 when we close down, and you can get all your stuff signed. It'll be great. And I'm like, no. Are you kidding me? I have worked my ass off this entire convention. Do you think I'm going to go out on a whimper? No.
Yeah, there was a time when Chris was like, you can leave. I have some downtime right now. And I'm like, well, I need to make sure, because he wanted to run around and do things. And I'm like, you're going to get swamped.
Yeah,
and
he's not going to be able to get to anything.
Yeah, he had to physically, push me and be like, no. Go get something to eat, please.
Jackie, go away. Jackie, go now.
Pretty much, but we ended up grabbing a bite, so that was healthy. But we were so tired, we didn't even want to eat anything. We knew we were hungry, but we were just like, I don't want to.
At that point, it was just on autopilot intake of calories.
Exactly. On a side note, I'm actually going to Dragon Con later this year, which is August 29th.
That's in Atlanta, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I always drive past that because that was always when I had to go back to school and stuff. But that is the day after my birthday.
Oh.
And I'm never able to go and do anything on my birthday because...
Well, you should come to Dragon Con.
I can't because I will be in the process of moving to Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's right. You lucky bastard.
Just a little bit. I guess that's breaking news. So just after I've gotten everything in my brand new room rearranged and I've gotten everything hung up and it looks nice, and I'm getting my channel back on track, I will be moving to Austin, Texas next. Well, let's see. It'll be the second half of August, sometime in there. I'm taking a directing class over at the Austin School of Film. And it should be a hell of a lot of fun. And I'm there for a month and a half, so I figure why not just make the move.
Holy shit.
Griffin described the town to me as a velvet ditch. it's the most wonderful place in the world to get trapped for the rest of your life.
That's a much better step than being in Vegas, I assure you.
And so you live in Vegas, yes?
Yes. I live in Sin City.
Is that where you were born?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I need to leave. The joke is the best view of Vegas is in the rear view mirror.
Nice. So, I mean, how is it being born in Las Vegas? Growing up in Las Vegas?
It's weird. The school system, the education system here, not the greatest ever. I think we're like the second to the worst school.
Right.
As far as like our education, but obviously I am of Asian descent, and we were raised a little bit differently. Believe it or not, I've never stepped foot in a club. I don't go and bar hop. I don't go and party or anything like that, because that was kind of instilled in us when we were children. Like when we graduated from high school, I have a little brother too. He's 2 years younger, and it was graduate from high school, you go to college, you pass college. There's like no option for doing that.
No.
And
Yeah.
it was just we were raised very differently, and I didn't understand why a lot of my friends' parents liked me more than a lot of my other friends, but it was because we were taught to respect the household, respect the people that are in the household, and some things that I saw my friends do, I'm like, well, no, you don't do that, especially to the elders of the house. And
yeah, it's true. It's weird to see the difference in other people's manners. I mean, you go out to eat with people our age, and some of them still cut their steak like this. And it's like, did no one ever tell you that that's bad? Did no one ever sit you down and go, honey, you don't have to bruise the bread when you cut it?
That's also something different. Like, we don't really cut our food because that's why we have chopsticks. Everything comes already cut and in small pieces. So yeah, I'm a little dumb. I actually burned myself with a knife once.
Are your parents first generation then?
Yes. My mom was born in Saigon. Mm-hmm. So she has tons of stories. Oh. And she traveled here, and my dad was born in Japan, but he left Japan when he was a child and spent most of his young adulthood / he probably left when he was like around 20 in Hawaii. So that's why I love Spam. Yeah.
Oh, good. And so that must have been really interesting because that would have been right there around the 1930s and 40s.
Yeah, they were born. My dad was born in 53.
I guess it would have been his parents.
Yeah, a little bit later.
Yeah, no.
But they still ran through some crap. My dad was in the Air Force, and I don't know how he's not racist to this day. But he took all the crap that they gave him, and even when I was growing up, I'm only 28. I'll be 29 in October, and just some of the things that were said to me, I've been called every single name in the book. I kid you not. Yeah, and that never really got to me. But what did get to me is one time in 8th grade, I was kind of playfully like shooting shit with my friend, and then he started barking at me, and then he's like, "Hey Jackie, I'm speaking your language," and I was like, "Wow, 8th grade." That's not even.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really, really weird. But that was really the only thing that got to me. Another funny story about that. Do you remember Command and Conquer?
I do.
Like old school. And whenever you would play skirmishes online, and then you get kicked into a chat room, you find a game, and then after the game is done, you get kicked back. My brother was so. And I don't, if I'm not allowed to say this, just edit it. But my brother just totally kicked this guy's ass, and they got back into the chat room, and this guy was just reaming my brother. He's like, "You know what, you're nothing but a stupid chink," and blah, 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 blah. And then my brother just went, "How does he know I'm Asian?" That was another story.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I mean, no, it's a sensitive subject to be sure, but it is a thing that happens. It's a part of your life. And so it's a thing you've had to deal with, and it's a thing that someone else shouldn't be afraid to ask you about.
It doesn't bug me.
No.
really.
I
And
mean,
it shouldn't.
you work
Shouldn't.
on the internet, for Christ's sakes. If insults
Exactly.
bother...
Aw.
Oh, thank God you came back.
Did he come back?
Yeah, so that's something that you should be able to deal with. I call myself an insult Navy SEAL. There's not much that you can possibly say or think or do that I haven't said or thought or done about myself. Mm-hmm. I promise. I'm my own worst critic. Always have been. Probably always will be.
Yeah, it's so fascinating being a minority woman in this day and age, because before it was, oh, you're Asian, so then you have that stereotype. But now that I've grown up a little bit, slightly, and now that I've become a huge part of this geek fandom, now it's become, well, you're a fake whatever you identify yourself with. So it's a weird transition, and I'm just constantly thinking, why do we have to constantly prove ourselves to whoever? So I just said, you know what, F you guys, and I'm kind of done.
And that's kind of the best way to go about it. That's kind of exactly the best way to go about it. Yes, I got some good advice a while back that said for about the first year, give or take, making YouTube videos should be largely a rhetorical exercise. They should really just be for you, making what you like, learning what you want to do, and starting out, you pick a couple people that you want to emulate, and you kind of start emulating them, and you can go and watch a whole bunch of videos and things that you might like, say a certain transition from Crash Course or something. You'll be like, oh, I want to figure out how to do that, and so you go and reverse engineer it in After Effects or whatever. And then you get pretty close, and by getting pretty close and not exactly the same, you're not copying, you're just sort of developing your own style.
Right. It's just like any skill.
Exactly. Yeah. And then in about a year from now, when you're able to get that 10,000 hours, suddenly you realize, oh, hey, I've actually got a style going here. This is pretty cool.
Yep.
And by that point, then you can start catering to your audience. Then you can start not really listening to people, but seeing what they have to say and maybe using some of it.
Right. Exactly. And you should love what you do. It shouldn't be that, oh, I want people to love what I do.
Speaking of GeekyFriedRice, I'm putting a little video down here of some of the stuff that you've done. What have you done so far?
Well, going back to our conversation about 20 minutes ago, when we were saying that I was going to DragonCon.
About 3 mess-ups ago?
Yeah, exactly. Like 3 failed calls.
Yeah.
I am actually working with a couple of my friends that are into leather making, and they are creating a Tallis cosplay for me. Tallis
from
is
Dragon
a
Age
character.
2.
Yes, she is one of the DLC characters played by Felicia Day.
I knew it sounded familiar.
Yes. And so there's a couple of videos of the process that I actually was duct taped down for the bodice, and it was very weird, this whole process. But it's coming out beautifully, and I'm so happy that I was able to do this with them, and giving them some credit too, because they do some amazing work. And
what is the leather workplace?
It's called Tuatha Leather. And I'm starting to get them into Twitter because I told them it's such a powerful marketing tool. You just have to, again, I started out with like 5 followers at some point. Now I have slightly over 400, and I'm starting to build that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone, even Ashton Kutcher started out with 5 followers.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
some point. So,
maybe 5,000 just because of his name, but
yeah, fair play. But you got to start. Everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm hoping, because they are so amazing. And when I say leather working, sometimes, especially vegans, they're like, you shouldn't kill animals for their skin. But they're rather unique because all of their skins that they use come directly from the food industry. So,
really?
Yes. So the food industry, they pretty much, we eat burgers and all that, and they just throw away the skins. So what their company does is they pretty much just recycle the skins.
Interesting.
Everything that you see in Skyrim with the tanning and all that stuff, they actually do, and the coloring and all that fun stuff. And so the costume that they made for me is made from cow. And they consider it paying homage to the animal. the
to
animals.
go ahead and finish using the rest of it properly.
Exactly. To create such a beautiful thing out of what would have been just trash and just thrown away and completely wasted. So I named him Herman.
Fantastic.
Herman's going to be accompanying me to Dragon Con. And I know.
That is so freaking funny.
So there's a couple of videos
and so he'll be
that.
accompanying you as bracers and a bodice.
Yeah. Oh, and
various other leather pieces.
Yeah, and there's a hood and.
Are you gonna go full nines and dye your hair as well?
It's actually kind of somewhat dyed. You can't really tell now because I'm not in natural light, but I did put in some red tones. I didn't want to go too unnatural because I do work in a corporate office, and I didn't want to go too crazy, but
Right.
I don't know.
So you two have also not yet been able to shed your day job.
Well, I can't speak too much of it because of the legalities that are going on right now, but another company did buy us out. So,
right.
A lot of us are just crossing our fingers just to see what happens, and I said, worst case scenario, I do not keep my job, and it'll be my last job in Vegas. So,
well, let's take a look back the last couple of months then. I mean, it's difficult balancing a day job and your career at this, doing what you love to do.
Right.
How have you been able to overcome it?
It's stressful. It is very, very stressful because there was a couple of personal things that I also went through that put a damper on my schedule. There's actually another project that I'm working on. I don't know if it's going to take off yet because we're doing some test runs, but there's another YouTube channel that asked me to host some of their videos because they will be showcasing a lot of indie games. Not entirely sure. We're working on some formatting issues, but I want to do my own channel, and I want to do this, and then I got to take care of my dogs, and I got to go to work, and the dogs are difficult enough as it is, especially since I have the little cute handicapped ones. I have 2 tripods, so
you do.
Chloe.
I saw one.
Chloe, come here. Here we go.
Saw one of them earlier.
This is Chloe, my little Maltese.
Oh, so cute. So cute.
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying the purple bow is a very nice touch.
Well, Malteses have to get groomed quite often. Say hi.
Yes.
Say hi, Jordan.
Hello.
Hello. And she's missing her back leg, too. See?
My...
But she's so cute. There we go.
Yeah, she is. My mother had 3 total, 1 female at a time, and then when she passed, we got 1 male and 1 female. And they are just amazing dogs.
She's so smart, but she's incredibly stubborn. Incredibly.
That sounds about right. It's amazing how the smaller the dog is, the bigger it thinks it is.
Yes. I have another tripod. She's not in the room right now, but her name is Wasabi. And she has... I know.
Go on.
She has a huge alpha female complex. My dad has a small Schipperke, so all of them around 10 to 12 pounds. And Sabi, she doesn't have that maternal instinct. Like if someone from the pack was injured, she doesn't care for that other dog. She actually sees that dog as a weakness. So one time I accidentally stepped on my dad's dog on her foot, and she started whimpering, and Sabi's like, "Oh, wink, wink," and like bit her in the neck. So I was thinking, you are such a bitch.
That is a very spicy dog.
It's really funny because I'm constantly calling her names, but in a loving way. But of course, they don't understand human. So I'll yell from across the house and like, "Sabi, you're such a freaking bitch!" And then my dad will chime in from the other room, and he's like, "Well, she takes after her mother." I'm like,
there it is. You gotta love
okay,
parrots. They're perfect for that.
So. Yeah.
So, you do vlog type stuff as well on your channel?
Well, I'm trying to. Because sometimes vlogging involves a budget, and I was trying to do a series of spoiler-free views where I would watch movies and I would review them, but I wouldn't try and spoil anything for people. So
Right.
I tried to write them in such a way where you can actually revisit the video as soon as you're done. So I did Star Trek Into Darkness, and I did Iron Man 3, and I would make little references where even if you didn't watch the movie, it would still be funny, I hope. And then once you did see the movie, you can go back to the video and be like, oh, now I know what she's talking about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are great moments, and it's fun to kind of engineer a video where you can make that feeling happen. And it can be really kind of fun, but it's difficult to do a video series like that because there are some movies that you can't really talk about very much without giving anything away. Like if you try to do that for Cabin in the Woods, say, just mention word one of that movie kind of gives a lot of it
Even then,
away.
I try to write it where... Have you seen Iron Man 3?
Yes.
Okay, so you know... try not to spoil anything. But,
Hang on. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to hold up a spoiler finger. As long as this finger is up, there are spoilers going on. And whenever this finger goes down, the spoilers are done.
Okay.
So mute now. Spoiler finger is up. Go.
Okay, so you know how the premise is people were being used as bombs? And so
Yeah.
they would, like, heat up, and everything that they touch would just melt or whatever like that. So there's a reference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a reference in my spoiler preview for Iron Man 3 where I just sing, well, what the hell is that song? Me soul on fire, hot, 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 and that was it. And then you're like, what the fuck is she talking about? But that would be in reference to the movie. Still, hopefully entertaining, but once you see the movie, you're like, oh, I get it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, and down.
Yay!
Well, I mean, that's just a fun little way to give a little visual cue for those people who want to go la 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 la. I don't know why I'm putting my fingers outside of my headphones as if that's going to help.
Well, you know what? Shame on them for not watching Iron Man 3 already.
Sure.
Seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
I mean, at least it's better than Iron Man 2.
Yeah. There's
What, you didn't like Mickey Rourke and his bird?
Well, that wasn't.
He really wants that bird.
Oh, okay. My biggest beef with Iron Man 2.
You know, I think just that reaction right there, you no longer have to prove any geekiness ever.
Well, it wasn't.
Just for that reaction to that movie.
It wasn't even my geekiness that was reacting to it. It was just coming from I guess, writing perspective. Not to say the writing was horrible, but I was like, there's way too much going on right now. You know, he has to deal with...
Right.
Please tell me you're not going to do the spoiler thing for Iron Man 2, because all these people are...
No. It's been 3 years now?
Yeah, something like that, something crazy. And, you know, he has to deal with the fact that he's dying. He has to deal with daddy issues. He has to deal with Gwyneth Paltrow issues. He has to deal with Mickey Rourke. He has to deal with Sam...
Alcoholism.
He has to deal... Yeah, with all this stuff. I'm like,
Just pick a few issues.
Yeah.
Don't have him take them all on. It felt, yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair though, it kind of felt like they were missing those issues in Iron Man 3 a little bit. Like he had a little bit of the complex where he had to talk to the little kid for half the movie for some reason. I don't know why Iron Man gets a Robin, but I mean, yeah, he was cute and all, but I feel like that could have been used better.
Yeah, well, I like that they didn't focus on Iron Man. They focused on Tony Stark.
No, that's a very fair point. I said the same thing.
Yeah.
It was a kind of an interesting way to have him be Iron Man because he was doing heroic things, and yet not obscure the Robert Downey Jr.-ness.
Yeah, and I definitely
'Cause
love that Pepper was starting to kick some ass too. That was pretty sexy. I have a really big girl crush on her now.
I wish they hadn't used the term Extremis though, because in the comic book storyline, the Extremis armor is actually like a nano armor that lives underneath his skin.
Oh, see,
and so whenever he wants, he's just able to kind of conjure it up. And it's really cool in theory because I really thought that's where they were going to go, was in nanotech. I mean, by Mark 42, you would think he'd be there by now. But no, I'm making a joke. But yeah, we were having a nice nerdy comic book conversation. It's like I said, the nano armor where it comes up on his skin, and I kind of thought that's where they were going to go with Iron Man 3, and maybe they will for Iron Man 4. Who knows? I don't know that they're going to do another solo Iron Man movie, though.
It's a cash cow. Why wouldn't you?
I mean, it is, but I think I might have heard that somewhere, that the new contract that Robert Downey Jr. made wasn't for a new Iron Man. It didn't have in it a new Iron Man movie. It just had Avengers 2 and 3. Now,
I'll still watch him.
who the hell knows? Yeah, I know, right? Seriously, I'll watch anything he's damn well in.
Right.
But who knows what contracts may come in the future? You know,
Yeah.
they may just decide, hell, why not throw in a third Iron Man movie, and Robert Downey Jr. just says, yeah, why not? Fourth Iron Man movie, excuse me.
I wasn't correct.
And so, you know, who knows what they're going to do in the future, but I seem to remember saying that. And I know they're doing the Ant-Man movie, and Avengers 2 has the subtitle Rise of Ultron. It's something Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I tend not to read anything about future movies because I don't want anything spoiled for me, like anything. I didn't read up on Star Trek, and then
Right.
when that moment happened, I was like, oh, and then that was pretty much it. But,
Had you seen any of the old Star Trek movies?
a long time ago.
Yeah.
I actually don't know how my geekiness started because we were never brought up on that stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were brought up on little Chinese cartoons and like Journey to the West kind of cartoons.
Right.
And I think
Well,
I saw Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was my first real actual anime. And then I got into Slayers, and then which is a fantastic anime. And then kind of graduated
Now,
from there.
did you see? I guess it wouldn't have been on the computer at that point because the internet was barely just a thing. It would have been like on Toonami, like the rest of us.
Yeah, man, I remember Cartoon Network.
Oh my god! It was like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z,
I saw Voltron.
and
Voltron was my first one. I remember that.
Voltron is an excellent one to begin with. Around somewhere, I'm not sure where the devil it's gotten to by this point, but I actually have the 10 cases of Voltron that are like the shape of the lion faces.
Those are really, really cool. I think I have some of them, but my only beef with it was that it was the American version. It was the U.S. version, and then I bought, maybe possibly bootlegged, the Japanese versions of it, and it's a completely different show. And it was the same for Sailor Moon, and the voice acting is just so much better on top of that.
Well, I mean, I've had this argument many, many times, and I'm going to defend it till the day I die. Animation is not for children.
No, it is not. Not Japanese animation, at least.
And they treat it with that attitude, and you can tell because the stories, just because they're animated, doesn't mean that they are immature.
Right.
They are accessible to children, but they are by no means immature. They're not, I'm sorry, Adventure Time or Regular Show or any of those that are just kind of silly and dumb. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kind of a little silly and dumb.
Yeah. I grew up with Ranma 1/2. Did you ever watch that
yes.
one? That was
God,
the
yes.
first time I had ever seen like animated boobs,
Yeah.
and it was on a man. That's how that I was
Yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
shit is this?
Yeah, they really did not have a problem with exposure to that issue. That, he was going to have a problem with his boobs being out a lot.
So it was like right in the first episode, and I'm like, am I gonna get in trouble for watching this? Because we rented videos, we rented VHSs at that time. God, that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, cartoon, and it looked cute, and I grabbed it. Did not read the rating on it.
No.
I could have gotten a lot of trouble for that one, but.
Yeah, and especially because every other person in the high school is trying to get with him.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. And I remember 7th, 8th grade, we were supposed to do like a report on our hobbies, and I actually did one on Japanese animation, on anime, and my friends didn't get it. They're like, you're always talking about these weird cartoons, and it's never going to go anywhere. And I'm like, okay. So,
Yeah, that Japanese culture will never disseminate throughout the entire fabric of American culture. People are dumb. People are dumb and short-sighted.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
I'm glad that it didn't stop there. And now we have, Monty owns RWBY. So.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I mean, it seems like the pinnacle, the culmination, the apex of that form. And it's interesting now because that's not the first time that I've seen that old school animation style meets new school animation. There was a short that came right before Wreck-It Ralph called Paperman.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, do yourself a favor. Go watch it. It is the most amazing piece of non-voiced anything I've ever seen in my life ever. And it's absolutely that old school Disney hand-drawn animation, but they layer it on top of 3D people. The people aren't in 3D, but they're animated using the same 3D programs that you would find in Toy Story or something. So you can definitely tell that they're computer animated, but they are hand-drawn. It's weird to describe. You kind of just have to see it in motion. But yeah, it's called Paperman, and you could probably find it all over YouTube. And I believe that you can go to Disney Animation's YouTube channel.
I found it, so I'll watch that.
Awesome. Yeah, I believe you can go to Disney Animation's YouTube channel, and it's one of their paid videos. You could $1.99 buy it, yada yada yada. What do you think about
RWBY or Paperman? Because I haven't seen Paperman.
Neither. Paid YouTube channels.
Hi, Chloe. I had never even heard of that until today, actually, because I work in the marketing department at my company, and one of our webmasters was playing a video. I'm like, what the crap was that? It sounded like a baby. And he's like, yeah, have you heard this thing called paid YouTube channels? And I was like, no, I've heard of, YouTubers being paid for, but to pay to actually see
it's interesting.
The YouTube channel. And apparently it was like some kind of learning, like child learning channel. And that's why I was listening to a baby cry.
Yeah, it's a lot of big channels that are specialty channels of some sort, like Henson Works has a paid channel, and the Learning Channel has a paid channel. BBC has a paid channel, and stuff like that. And you can go on to BBC's paid channel, even here in America, and pay $1.99 and watch 1080p Doctor Who the day it comes out.
So is that YouTube's response to like Hulu and Netflix and
and iTunes.
iTunes too.
Even. And then there are also channels that you can subscribe to on a monthly basis, and you'll get all the content from there, and you're kind of supporting them independently. Because, I mean, no one really owns Henson Works anymore. They're kind of doing stuff on their own, so they have to get paid somehow. And the Muppet movies only make so much. So they have kind of their own TV channel, their own YouTube channel that you pay $2.99 a month for. And you've got all of this content, including old Fraggle Rock stuff.
God, I remember Fraggle Rock.
And old Henson Works stuff, as well as new shows that they're making on an episode a week type actual TV show kind of schedule. It's really interesting the way that it's kind of. I love the future. I love being in the freaking future. We are living on the cusp of the digital entertainment revolution.
Yeah, it's definitely taken a very unique turn in our generation, so I can't really, God, if I ever have kids, I don't know what they're going to go through.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting because we will be able to look back when the question is asked, when did it all change? But right now is the answer. Right. Everything from Netflix making their own content to paid YouTube channels, to all of that stuff, to these production companies like Rooster Teeth and Penny Arcade making all of their own shows and marketing them themselves and not spending double the budget for the movie on marketing. Right. That's how a revolution happens. Very small changes over a period of time that you look back on and think that it all happened at once.
And we have sites like, Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and just like now that there's a way for these creative people to reach everyone in the entire world, essentially, and to help back their projects, there's so much more coming out. If you can imagine if we would have had these resources just maybe even like 10, 15 years ago.
Lord. I don't know how the world would have reacted if the internet had come as it is now. I mean,
like in a way, I wish the internet still wasn't I don't know. Internet has its ups and downs.
Of course, as with any kind of new technology where you could allow people to communicate with each other instantaneously. The bad part is you allow people to communicate with you instantaneously.
Right. Like, I love that we can do this. You are, I'm in Vegas, and actually, I don't remember where you're at.
I'm in Louisiana. I never stated exactly where I am right now.
You're over there, and then you're going to move to Austin, and we can still, communicate with each other. I absolutely love that. But God forbid, you go into the comment section or you post your own opinion about something, and it's just...
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you dredge through the worst of it because it's not just the people who actually have those feelings. It's the people who have those feelings so strongly that they take the time that it takes to type it all out. That's the people that you're getting down to in the comment section.
And I don't mind if someone has a different opinion than me. I welcome that because I like to be able to, talk about different ideas, about different opinions, and why you believe what you believe. But what gets to me are the people that completely miss your point. And they just go off, and then they can't even hold an argument on top of that. It just goes to rage,
and instead,
I just don't understand that.
Exactly, or pick one specific nitpicky part of your argument to just feel that they're getting something right somewhere. Yeah. I posted on the Rooster Teeth subreddit a while ago a picture of that a Tower of Pips cabinet that guy made. Did you see that on the floor? I'll put a picture of it right over there. It's this really cool 5-cubby cabinet that's painted like the Tower of Pips. It's probably 8 foot tall. It's got big, wide, cubby holes in it and stuff. And the Achievement Hunter guys freaking loved it. These two guys made it. They dragged it through the floor and brought it over to the booth. And it's been in the background of a whole bunch of AWUs ever since. And people were asking, oh, hey, where was that from? And so I posted a picture of it. And then I posted a picture of, like, Jack and Jeff kind of laughing in front of it or something. And I was like, yeah, the lads love it. And then every comment after it was like, those are the gents, not the lads. And I'm like, I hate you all so much.
What?
Actually, I don't hate you all so much. I don't care, actually. I don't care about lads and gents and all that. I was saying that they enjoyed this cabinet. Check out the cabinet. Isn't it really cool? Because that's the important part. Oh, internet. Oh,
yeah.
What are you going to do? You can't get rid of it.
I don't know. I just, speaking of 25 minutes ago, when you were asking me about videos on the Geeky Fried Rice channel, there was one that I did.
Nice.
The Geeky Fried Rice channel, one of the most recent videos I did was in response to the initial reveal of the Xbox One. And I didn't quite like what I was hearing about it. And I created the video to make it seem like I was breaking up with the Xbox. And how I titled it was Thoughts from a Gamer Girl. And I thought it was pretty funny. A lot of my friends thought it was hilarious. And then I just get this one comment from this guy. It's like, don't call yourself a gamer girl. You're not that different. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I have ovaries. I'm sorry. That kind of makes me different.
Yeah. You have ovaries and a controller. As it turns out, that is exactly the qualifications for gamer and girl.
Some women, they don't like the term girl, and that I understand. But I wrote out a comment in response to it, and then I had to delete it. I'm like, I'm just not gonna, I'm not gonna feed him. I'm just not gonna do it.
And quite frankly, that was probably the best decision you could have made. Because then you get your frustration out, and then you never get to give them the satisfaction of reading.
It's just so frustrating. Like, why can't you just enjoy the video? It wasn't the fact that I'm a gamer girl, quote unquote. It was the fact that I wanted to break up with the Xbox because I did not like what I was seeing.
Yeah, you wanted to do a funny skit. You didn't want to necessarily be berated on your qualifications.
It's YouTube. It's the internet. I should have seen it coming, but it kind of made me do the head tilt, and I thought, what a douche.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately, it matters not. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not going to cry in a corner because, oh my god, this guy doesn't like me.
Yeah.
You know who he is. I forgot his name already.
I checked my channel the other day, just kind of filtering through old videos, and I noticed that, like, from, I guess it was one of my StarCraft episodes on back, somebody has gone through and systematically downvoted each one of my videos. And so it's each one of those videos has just one downvote going down the line, and I'm like, I don't care. Thank you for pushing up my metrics. Because that's what it does. I mean, upvotes and... upvotes and downvotes. Thumbs up and thumbs downs and comments all move the metrics, not really equally, because the thumbs do less than the comments do. But they all move you around in the metrics. There's no such thing as bad press.
Exactly. And
the video that gets 2 million thumbs downs still got 2 million clicks.
Exactly. And I don't know why these people think they're damaging us. They're not.
It doesn't matter. It gives them that same catharsis that you happened to have when you typed out the comment and then deleted it.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's giving them an opportunity. And you know what? If they think that that's the best way to get in contact with me, and they want to take the opportunity to at least say something, that's fine. I take it as the compliment that it is that you took the time out of your day to cuss me out or tell me that I'm great.
Or, call me a chink or something.
Yeah. I mean, whatever the case may be, they felt strongly enough. You caused a reaction in them strong enough for them to do whatever it is. Kiss your ass or kick your ass. And so that's kind of a good thing for you as a performer.
Yeah. It's like...
to know that you were able to elicit some sort of reaction. That means he's not in your audience, but you elicited a reaction.
Yes, I somehow made it into this random dude's life. And,
Well done. He's gonna talk to his friends later and cuss you out all night long. He's gonna think about you all night. He's gonna think about you all day. I thought about that. I had to change that. That was no. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for putting up with the technical difficulties here. We're kind of about ready to round out our program. I've always enjoyed the Inside the Actor Studio method of ending on a series of questions, and so I, too, have reappropriated the Proust questionnaire and pray that it lets us get through it. It goes a little something like this. Jackie, what is your favorite word?
Faggle snaps.
And what's your least favorite word?
I'm going to coin that one day. That's difficult. I'm just kind of hoping that Skype will fail.
No. I'm watching the puppy watch you in the background.
Lazy? Hi.
Good
high
one.
Five.
Yeah,
high five. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Yeah, you caught just a little.
High five, Chloe. No, high five.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Puppy high five.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
What hero or heroine do you identify with the most?
Fictional or real person?
Doesn't matter.
God. I know this is very cliche, but I want to say my mom because of the fact that she was born in Saigon. I will never forget it. I actually don't know a lot about her past. And when I was in high school, I took a multicultural literature class, and they kind of honed in on me, obviously, and said, well,
right.
Can you tell us about your parents? Can you do like a small report for us? And I went home and I asked my mom and I said, hey, can you tell me about Vietnam? And she got about 2 minutes in before she just started crying. And I was like, I can't people this. And I was just like, we lived happily ever after in America. The end.
When you get to that point, I don't want to say that they ran from it, but they escaped from it.
Yeah. And she had no choice.
And there's no reason to make them go back and experience that. My grandfather was, and this is by no means a comparison, but it's kind of the same feeling at least. My grandfather was a master sergeant in the Army for some 35 odd years and was probably over there as well, and he would not talk about it at all. And it was definitely one of those things where you knew you didn't really want to press the issue too much.
Right.
And because I mean, the last thing you ever want to do is see your parents in pain. Just like the last thing they would want to do is see you in pain. It's just, yeah, it's just better to not.
And I totally look up to my mother for everything that she's experienced. But at the same time, too, a lot of her personality comes from those experiences.
Yeah.
And that drives me up a fucking wall sometimes. Yes.
Oh, really?
She's so funny. I love my mother. I do. I love my mother. Sometimes I don't like her, though.
Of course. Well, I mean, yeah, just because you love someone doesn't mean you like them. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I completely understand.
She grew up with nothing. Like, literally nothing. I remember when the first Nokia phones came out with Snake on it, and she's like, back in my day, we didn't have anything. We played with sticks and rocks and dirt.
Back in her day, they played actual
yeah, exactly.
snakes.
But because of that, now that she's in a position where she can buy herself things, she's not a negative connotation, but she's very materialistic. So she just has all this stuff, and because of that, I'm more simple. I don't.
Well, I mean, hell, my parents didn't really have the ability to buy me everything that I wanted either, and so I mean, you see all the toys that I have lining my walls. I mean, there's a freaking Nerf gun hanging up right there that I bought 2 Halloweens ago, and it's still used today. I need to go buy new darts. My cats love those darts. And so I feel like it's an equivalent exchange. I shoot the cats eat my darts.
That's very even.
So what villain or villainess do you identify with?
Oh, man, that's a good one.
Yeah, this is my favorite question.
Holy crap, villain. Dexter. But the thing is, I don't consider him a villain, really. But he does evil things. But he's not a villain.
I mean, that would be your anti-hero.
Yeah, everyone, I'm of the firm belief that everyone is born with evil. But I try to put a cap on it. However, they're, like, for example, my dogs. They're a reason why they're tripods. And I just kind of want to, I just want 5 minutes with their previous owners in a room with a bat. That's all.
Fair enough.
And
Fair enough.
I kind of want to, but the thing is, that's not a villain. God, that's such a good one. If I wanted to go all out evil, again, not a villain. See, I can't. That's so difficult to think of something.
But that's fine. That's the point of these questions. That to kind of peek behind the curtain real quick before we move on. That's the point of these questions, is to give you a chance to explore your own personality, and it's how you answer these questions, not what your answer is. The fact that you have never thought about being a villain says bounds more than if you had just been able to come out and say Magneto.
Yeah, and if I were going to say I wanted to be a villain, I wanted to be like someone that is badass, only because they have the badass factor, not necessarily because they are the most evil son of a bitch in the entire world.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I love that question. It's a great one. But we can skip right past it. What turns you on, either creatively, spiritually, emotionally?
Other people that have the same drive as me.
Okay.
Like you're creating this video. That is something that I am also interested in. Just creating online content, which is also another reason why I connect so well with the community of Rooster Teeth. Because we're essentially all the same. Like, we just want to create something, and I don't have any artistic ability whatsoever. But right now, they're.
You're not one of those drawy types.
I had some when I was younger, but that kind of just faded. And but I like to write. Last year for my birthday, I did an Extra Life run, playing Resident Evil 6.
I saw that video.
It was, I swear a lot when I'm scared, apparently. And I don't really have much to give back to people that donated. And so what I said on my page is, whoever donated the most money, I will write them a story. And someone was very, very, very generous. Actually, he was another Rooster Teeth community member, and he put me over to my last goal of $1,000. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, but he said, I'm not really that interested in the reward, but my roommate would like you to rewrite the ending of Assassin's Creed 3. And I did, and I didn't rewrite it. I kind of just fleshed it out because a lot of the gamers that played that game believe that it ended way too quickly and with not enough to,
I'd agree with that.
So
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, just other people that have the same interests as me, because you just motivate each other, and
Dig it.
If you don't have that, then you're just not going to do anything.
Yeah. No, I can totally dig that. What turns you off?
Hypocrites, liars, people who are not compassionate is a really big thing. Not necessarily, like, in the last 3 or 4 years, I've worked a lot with dog rescue, so I'm very, very sensitive to how people treat their dogs. And it's really, really funny because I only remember their dogs' names rather than the actual owners' names. I'm like, oh, hey, it's Brady, and now like I don't remember what your name is. I'm sorry, but
you Pongo and Pongo's owner.
So I'm kind of, I'm kind of sensitive to that nowadays. Yeah. And it's just, if people can't be compassionate to lesser animals, there's no way that they can be compassionate to people that are of the same level as them.
Yeah.
And that's a big.
Yeah, so that's a big bone of contention for you.
Yes. So what I say, hypocrites, liars, people that are not compassionate.
And I think that's a completely fair point. Very, very, very succinct. So what other talent, other than the ones you were obviously gifted with, would you like to have?
Would I like to have? I'd like to play an instrument that's not the piano.
Okay.
I would like to learn how to play the guitar, but because I played piano for the greater portion of my younger life, I was not allowed to have nails. So now that I have nails, I want to keep them somewhat long, and guitar, I can't do that. I would like to get back into drawing at some point, but it's just too... I don't know. I just like writing so much.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I focus on. And the fact that I can actually be in front of a camera now comfortably, that was a big thing. And I actually want to get more involved into video editing. So I'm trying to teach myself a lot of that because I can't afford to go to school right now.
Right.
Especially if I'm possibly losing my job. So
it can be very expensive to take classes like that. Thankfully, I'm going to a small community college, and it's like $650 for a month and a half class.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
You do what you have to do to get by. But I started out, I downloaded a freaking tutorial off the internet, and you just teach yourself. You sit down with the program, and you start 5 hours later. You're like, I've learned all of 3 things, but those 3 things will be the building blocks to my success.
Exactly. And you have to. Uh-oh. Did the audio go down?
Nope.
Oh.
And then before you know it, you end up actually making stuff that's pretty good, and then being like, oh, hey, I kind of want to figure out how to do this kind of wipe transition that I am working on. I just accidentally stumbled on how to do that.
Exactly.
And then and then you're like, oh, I just learned how to do this whole new trick, and I can't wait to plug it in here, and here, and here.
Yeah, that's how I started with
really
iMovie.
Yeah.
I only had this MacBook Pro for about 3 years now, and I never touched video editing software before. And I started teaching myself how to use iMovie, and some of it is a pain in the ass, but if that's really what you want to do, you have to push yourself to do it. No one else is going to do it for you.
Yes, and you're going to hit the wall.
I've hit many.
You're going to hit the wall where you just don't want to do it anymore. You're like, no, this is too much effort. There has to be an easier way. Yeah, there is. It's called normal life.
Yeah.
You want to go through it the easy way? Yeah, go get a $14 an hour job, settle down, have 2.5 kids, and we'll see you at 35.
Yeah, no.
But that's not for me. Yeah, I've never felt like that's been for me.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask if you felt the same. And, of course, now you're frozen again, so you can't... Oh, no!
Yay!
Yes!
Yay, we survived!
Yeah, so I was just going to ask you if you've ever felt that same.
I Oh, is this a legitimate question, or is this a kind of follow-up of the last
Yeah.
one?
It's a follow-up of the last one.
It's been very, very weird for me because at some point I do want to settle down. Hopefully,
I mean, yes, that's what I mean by see you at 35, because that's when I plan on settling down. Once I have enough money to support my own fancy-ass lifestyle, much less the high-maintenance woman I'm going to marry.
Yeah. Okay, not all of us are high maintenance. First off.
No, but I know the kind of woman that I attract.
Cougars?
Well, okay, let me rephrase. What I mean by high maintenance is, generally speaking, they need a lot of time. And I'm not able to give the time. It makes me feel bad for not being able to spend time with the person that I really want to spend time with, but instead I have to work my day job and my internet job.
So that's why you have cats, because they're independent. Essentially, you want a cat woman, which is why you attract cougars. I got it. I totally got it. Yes.
Yes. You figured it out. Well done.
Tim.
So, what is your favorite curse word? I know, so many good ones to choose from.
It's, thanks to Red versus Blue, fucktard is up there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
There's another one that was, like, really, really funny, but I taught myself not to say it anymore, because it was just bad.
Was it one of those that just kind of ended up being every other word?
And, saying fuck a lot is pretty bad. And I'm even training myself to not write it to look like F-U-C-K. I actually write it now, P-H-U-Q. so it's like...
That's very Samuel L. Jackson of you.
But, I don't know. Yeah. I think fucktard's, like, really, really... It's up there.
Look, any permutation of the word fuck is my favorite cuss word. That word is so multifaceted. It's my favorite word, period. Not just curse word. It's my favorite word.
It can be used in every...
There's a bit by a comedian named Tommy Tiernan, and he says the human emotion is such a fluid thing. The ability for me to communicate the ideas in my head to you is essentially the hardest thing for two human beings to do to each other. It is. And for you to see exactly the picture that's in my head, it's next to impossible. So the English language, with all of its rules and strictness, just ends up being this brick wall that stands between you and me. And fuck is my chisel.
That's funny. I really, really like that.
Because it's just such a multifaceted word, and it just makes it so much easier to break everything down.
It's understandable.
That X factor of human emotion that you can't really vocalize. You could probably put out in some permutation of the word fuck.
Just not around my mother.
Right. So what sound or noise do you love? What sound or noise do you love?
Rain. That's
I
one.
like it too.
A lot of water ones, actually, because ocean would be up there, too, even though I live in a desert. Maybe that's why I like it.
It's very relaxing.
I just don't have it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. What sound or noise do you hate?
I hate annoying fucking...
Besides the cockatiel in the next room.
Okay. I have to preface this.
I saw that.
Have to preface this because I don't hate children. I don't hate babies.
That's it. That's the best start to an answer I've ever gotten. Go on.
But they are just like, especially when the child is just so disrespectful to their children, I just want to slap them. And it's not that. I hope to God one day if I do become a mom that I am the best mom I possibly can be. But God, there are just some kids that I just like. It's just nails on a chalkboard kind of thing, and it's not that they're whiny. I don't know. It has to. It depends on the situation, but if they're just misbehaving.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell a bad kid when you see it.
Absolutely hate it. And then I will never forget this. I saw I Am Legend with Will Smith. I will never forget when he lost his dog, and you didn't see anything, you just heard everything. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like, I bawled like a baby. Luckily, I saw the movie at home for the first time, and I was like, done.
You didn't have to take the walk of shame out of the theater, just going down the face.
Everywhere. And,
where would you one day like to live?
Live. Austin. That's, actually,
we can dig it.
I have not visited a lot of places. I've been to California. I don't really, the only thing that I like about there is Chinatown, but even then I can get over it really quickly.
Right.
One thing about Vegas is that there's no culture here. We don't have a professional sports team. I mean, we have like I think a minor league baseball team, and we have minor league.
That's interesting. I've never thought about that before, that there's no actual, like, Las Vegas culture.
It's just a vacation spot where, you know, debauchery happens and people lose their money, but there's nothing that keeps people here, which is why, you know, natives, especially people that were born and raised here, they never stay. So that's why I'm so, like, people like me are so rare. And they're like, oh, you actually was born here. That's so crazy. And I was.
You end up getting restless and just getting the hell out to somewhere that matters.
Yeah,
it
would just be nice to be around people that are nicer, first off, and people that just are into stuff. Vegas, there's nothing like that here. We go to work, we come back home, and then.
I think you come up with Austin's new tagline: Austin, the anti-Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
The anti-Vegas.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
I knew what I
even
meant.
Though I heard it differently.
So, last question. If you have a choice, how long would it take you to respawn
if I had a
died?
choice? I would think that dying would be relaxing at some point, so maybe a couple minutes. just like, let me rest for a second. Yeah,
just long enough to take a short nap.
So let me just take a short nap, and then we can get back into how everything was, because it's a little chaotic.
Seriously, let me just take enough time to catch up on all the TV that I missed in the last millennium, and then we will get right back in it, I swear. I just need to watch all of the Golden Girls.
Pretty much. Oh, there's so many shows that I've missed out on, and I have so many movies that I need to watch.
Yeah.
But.
So you could use however long it takes to respawn to catch up on all that. Yeah, no, I hear you. I've actually gotten some really interesting answers to that question. I enjoy doing this show.
It's a great show. I hope that you keep on doing it.
Yeah, as a little final thought as we're closing out here. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I am so sorry for all the technical problems. I'm going to try and edit it together as best I can so that you can see very little of it. But I'm going to show it a little bit because, you know, it actually happened. And I never want to lie to my audience. That's the last thing I ever want to do. And so if a mistake happens, I'm going to own the hell up to it.
Chloe wants to watch.
You know what I mean? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back here in 2 weeks with a brand new guest, and we'll be chit-chatting as always. Thank you so much. As always,
bye-bye.
We'll see you next time. Show that's only partially a show, but really it's just an excuse for me to talk to some of my very talented friends. And speaking of talented friends, I have another one here with me today. Her name is crap. Let me do it. I am the worst. I am the worst at doing that. Yes, I do. And that's probably going to go right at the very end. Gotta love it.